Hi, everybody. Instant reaction time on a Thursday afternoon. Josh Callaway, Tom Green here with you. Oklahoma has their tight ends coach, and it's a doozy. Jason Witten, former NFL tight end, 11-time Pro Bowler, future Hall of Famer, is the guy. Unreal. Wow. Tom, hand up. I'll be completely honest. When we did the instant reaction show, after Joe John Finley got let go, the two of us and Colin Kennedy was on that show as well. We brought up Jason Witten. That was the first name we brought up, and it really was just doing it to kind of do it. Like, I don't know how much I really thought that was possible. I mean, it was certainly a name that was buzzed. There was an obvious connection with DeMarco Murray. Here we are, fast forward to today, and that's the guy. Sources confirmed to CBS. Our own Matt Zenitz reporting. Why? I mean, where does your mind go first? Just a stunning hire here, a big name, as much of a splash as you could really possibly make at a position coach with a guy like Jason Witten coming in. Just what a swing, what a huge swing by Brent Venables in Oklahoma here with Jason Witten.
This is a really intriguing hire to me.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, not many people have played the position better than Jason Witten has in the history of football.
Sure.
He's like first or second in like receiving yards, receptions. I think he's like sixth in touchdowns for tight ends. Like you said, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's a finalist in this year's class. But he's also a guy who has not coached in any capacity at the college level yet. Once he retired from the NFL after the 2020 season, he spent the last 5 years coaching high schools down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And that is the extent of his experience coaching. Not saying it's not going to work, but
sure. No, it's fair.
But you're plucking a guy who has not coached at this level yet. But it's such almost an outside of the box hire. Again, like you're getting one of the best to ever do it at the position. So it's really intriguing. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of guys that are going to want to play for him.
Sure.
We've already seen the reactions on social media from, Hayden Hansen, the Florida tight end commit. That transferred in Oklahoma. He's really pumped about it. Some of the other new additions to the class are excited about it, even if they aren't playing tight end. It's just a fascinating hire to me. I think it's a really high ceiling splash type move. If he can pass down some of his knowledge and help develop these guys, because we've discussed it at length. This is a position group that is really underwhelmed in the last few seasons. I mean, Jaron Kanak was an all SEC, third-team all SEC selection, but outside of that, it's been slim pickings at tight end for Oklahoma these last few years. So if Jason Witten can come in and infuse that room, which is going to be almost completely overhauled, let's see what he could do.
Right. And look, you said it, and I don't, not to be a wet blanket on this thing, I have no idea how it's going to work. Right. I mean, there are tons of guys who are really, really, really good players. And obviously in Jason's case, a future Hall of Famer, like we just said, that don't translate to being great coaches. And he doesn't have a lot of resume under him. Like you said, he's never even coached at the college level. He's a really good high school coach, but he's never coached at this level before. But what I do know is you said one thing, they're going to recruit. I mean, they're obviously going to get players. And that's what, frankly, looking right across with DeMarco Murray, it's a similar thing, right? I mean, a lot of you fans kind of have a bit of a love-hate with DeMarco Murray right now because of, obviously, again, kind of a similar situation in that really good NFL players, obviously a great player at OU. He recruits. He gets guys to come. But the question has been development, all that sort of thing. And so can Jason do that? Can he be that? And it's a huge swing. That's the other thing. It's no matter what you think of it or how it's going to work, Jim Nagy and Brent Venables in Oklahoma, they're taking a swing, right? I mean, it's not a safe hire by any means. It's a splash. It's a big cut, big swing, however you want to phrase that. And so I think you give Oklahoma some credit for that, in that, they could have went, we talked at that same interaction show in-house with Kevin Wilson, which would have been a perfectly fine thing to do, I believe. But they said, clearly they zero in on what they felt could be a splash, give them a jolt in recruiting. And obviously they have a lot of belief in his coaching ability as well. And so you just kind of put all that together and here you go. I mean, this is a move that, kind of like we said when they hired Jim Nagy, it's caught the attention of college football world. I mean, just go around some of the big college football accounts today. The college football playoff semifinals are tonight. But right now, in this moment, everyone's talking about, whoa, OU hired Jason Witten. Like, it's a huge kind of attention grabber, which it's not all you're trying to do. You're trying to find a good coach. But that's a nice plus, right? That Oklahoma gets a bit of a PR boost on this.
Yeah. And you mentioned Kevin Wilson. Look, as long as Kevin Wilson's on staff, he's got his knowledge and his experience coaching that position too. And I'm sure, Jason Witten will pick his brain, much like Ben Arbuckle picked his brain, much like Bill Bedenbaugh kind of leaned on him with that offensive line group too. Like, he is a very useful resource to have in that room, especially for a guy who is newer to coaching and certainly coaching at the college level. So I think it's, like you said, a good PR win for Oklahoma. Splashy, it'll help with the recruiting, especially he's got a lot of ties to that Dallas area, not just having played there, but having coached there these last 5 years. So he's got deep ties to that region. I'm just really intrigued. And this, again, we mentioned him on the instant reaction after the Joe John Finley news. We had him on our list of potential candidates. I don't know how realistic any of us thought it might be. We thought there was a chance, but it was kind of a, like I said, outside of the box, a little bit of a long shot. Even last night when I was reaching out to people that I know at Alabama, they thought that it might be Brian Ellis, who crossed paths with Ben Arbuckle at Western Kentucky. He's been the tight ends coach at Alabama these last 2 years. It looked like he might be the front runner, and then this morning the winds just kind of changed, and all of a sudden you have Jason Witten coming in, and it's just a really fascinating hire, in my opinion.
That kind of ties into it. I wanted to ask you, what do you, and I'm sure this will all kind of come to light more over time, what do you kind of make of the dynamic of the hire? Because that was a question we had as well of like, is it going to be a Ben Arbuckle guy? Clearly it's not, right? I mean, Ben Arbuckle, I can't imagine has any relationship with Jason Witten. Maybe at some point, but surely not, right? Obviously, Jason played with the Cowboys with DeMarco Murray. Jim Nagy has his NFL ties. Brent Venables knows everyone in some capacity. It feels like this is probably a Jim Nagy hire, right? I mean, that's how it feels, at least, which is kind of interesting because we thought maybe when you consider the fact that when Arbuckle was hired, it was all the same staff, that we thought they might kind of let Arbuckle do his thing here. Clearly, that's not really what they did. Now, again, we talked about the time. Ben doesn't really have a lot of connections because he just hasn't been around that long. Mm-hmm. What do you make of that? Because it feels like this is kind of a Jim Nagy, again, kind of zeroing in on his guy and him almost making the decision. Again, this all might come to light more over time. But what do you kind of make of that dynamic of it? Because we were curious how that was going to play out. And it kind of feels like, again, it feels like this was a Nagy move.
Yeah, I agree with you in that aspect. I mean, Jim knows Jason Witten. I think it was so I forgot who it was. We put out a photo like 2 years ago. Jason Witten was on, or I guess last year, Jason Witten was on campus when his son was camping at Oklahoma, and
that's right.
He was like having a conversation with Jim Nagy, and obviously crossing paths in the NFL over the years. I'm sure that was the case too, but I'm sure Ben Arbuckle had input in this process. After all, at the end of the day, it's his offense. Sure. He's running the show. Jim Nagy's trying to put him in the best position to succeed. So I'm sure there's some involvement there. But yeah, I agree. It's like there are no, at least on the surface, no connections there between Ben Arbuckle and Jason Witten.
Right. It's very interesting. It's a wild dynamic, and it is also worth noting as well. And I'll be curious to get Colin Kennedy's thoughts on this in due time. But the obvious as well is that Jason's son, Cooper, is an elite linebacker prospect in 2027 that Oklahoma was already heavily involved in. It's not like, oh, now they have some shot. They already felt like they were in good position for Cooper. He's our number one linebacker at 24/7 Sports in 2027. You feel like, I mean, it's a slam dunk now. Obviously, we'll let it all play out. Sometimes kids don't follow their parents. Like, that doesn't always happen, but you're feeling pretty good about that. So that part doesn't hurt either. That sweetens the pot a little bit, I would say.
Yeah, and he was playing for him at Liberty.
Right, he's his coach, which is a lot of people thought that might be a main reason why Jason wouldn't maybe want to do this. Like, he might want to see out his son's senior season, but obviously that doesn't matter. Yeah,
I'm curious to see if like Cooper stays at Liberty Christian for senior year, because I mean it's not a far trip from there to Norman, and like Jason just kind of like has his spot up in Norman, and family stays down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area while he finishes out the year, or how that's going to work, if he's going to transfer into a school in the area or what. But I think that's another just kind of intriguing thing from a recruiting perspective to keep an eye on.
What an amazingly different looking position from Joe John Finley, obviously with Kanik and Caden Helms and Carson Kent. He portals out. You go get Hayden Hansen, who we talked about on Monday. They've added Rocky Beers since then from Colorado State. They're pursuing probably getting another one. And you make this just very interesting, splashy hire. It's all of a sudden become an extremely fascinating position, obviously, in the spring. I think we're all looking forward to seeing what it looks like, and hopefully we get an opportunity to talk to Jason in the spring. I don't know if we will or not. That's been kind of hit or miss talking to position coaches, but it'd be great if we did. Obviously, it'd be awesome. So we'll see. I think that's it. We'll be back tomorrow with Colin. I want to get his thoughts on this as well. He's down in San Antonio. That's why he's not on the show doing All-American Bowl. We were going to do the pod today. We ended up having to move to tomorrow, so it kind of worked out. So we'll have this today, and then Colin and I will be on. We're going to try and do it tomorrow morning, so keep an eye out for the full podcast tomorrow. We're going to recap all the latest portal news, and I'm sure we'll bring this up as well because I want to get Colin's thoughts from a guy who knows that program really well and knows Cooper, and he'll have a lot of great insight on this as well. Do you have something you wanted to add? Okay, look like you had something.
Sure.
I was like, did something break? There's news flying every 2 seconds right now.
I just got notifications pop up, so you got to have to check every time your phone flashes.
I know. It's been a crazy week, and this was one of the crazier things. Oklahoma, Jason Witten. Full coverage on the website, oklahoma.247sports.com. More to come. Podcast tomorrow. That's it for now. For Tom Green, I'm Josh Callaway. Stay plugged in at Sooners Illustrated.